A quiet walk through the streets of French Quarter brings you to one of Pondicherry's most beautiful landmarks, Our Lady of Angels Church, also known as Église de Notre des Anges. This is not just any church, it's actually the fourth church to be built on this very spot. Earlier structures here were destroyed during 18th century conflicts, most notably when the English razed the building to the ground in 1761. It's said that the land itself was gifted by Napoleon III. Facing east towards Bay of Bengal, the French deliberately positioned it so that the sailors approaching the Pondicherry coast would see it as a first landmark from the sea, a symbol of French faith and power welcoming them to shore. That alone tells you how important this church was to French presence in Pondicherry. The present church was built between 1851 and 1855 during Napoleon's reign. He personally visited it and even donated a painting to the church. The architect was Louis Gaya. What makes it stand out architecturally is its Greco-Roman style, uncommon in this region. Instead of the pointed Gothic spires you see in most Indian churches, this one has twin square bell towers and clean rounded arches, a design inspired by Notre de Paris and the Basilica at Lourdes in France. The exterior was built using a traditional mixture of limestone and egg whites, which gives it that smooth, almost marble-like finish. Today, with its pastel pink and cream exterior, it bears a striking resemblance to the elegant buildings you would find along the French Riviera, a happy coincidence that makes it feel like a little piece of southern France right on the Bay of Bengal. And to this day, it's the only church in Pondicherry that conducts Mass in 3 languages, French, English and Tamil. That alone tells you a lot about the unique identity of the city. A few streets away, the atmosphere suddenly shifts. A vibrant, crowded lane appears. This is the gateway to Manakula Vinayagar Temple. Lined with vendors selling many kinds of flowers, garlands and puja offerings. This temple was here long before French arrived in 1600s. Its name tells you its origin. In Tamil, Manal means sand and Kulam means pond. This was once a temple by a sandy pond near the Bay of Bengal. In 1688, when the French were building their fort nearby, they tried to remove the temple. The Ganesha idol was thrown into the sea, not once but multiple times, and each time it miraculously reappeared back in the sanctum. The French eventually gave up. They were so moved by what they witnessed that they actually became devoted to the deity themselves. Locals gave the idol an affectionate nickname, Vellaikaran Pillai, a name that reflects the deep fondness even the French colonizers developed for this deity. Now, while cameras are not allowed inside the inner sanctum, there's something fascinating about the temple's foundation that often goes unnoticed. Beneath the main pedestal lies a small pit that is always filled with water. No matter the season, the level never changes. It is believed to be connected to the ancient underground spring that gave this place its name. Legend says this spring was created by Lord Shiva himself to cool Ganesha after he consumed too much honey. It's a direct living link between this busy modern street and the ancient sandy pond that gave the temple its name centuries ago. Inside, over 32 forms of Ganesha are enshrined, including a rare dancing form called Nartana Ganapati. Unlike most Ganesha temples across India, where he is worshipped as a brahmachari or bachelor, here he is flanked by his two consorts, Siddhi and Buddhi. The temple also holds the samadhi of Tolaikada Siddhar, a saint who attained enlightenment here around 300 years ago. His name itself tells you something unique about him. Tolaikad refers to his distinctively long earlobes with large holes, a feature associated with certain ascetic traditions. To this day, parents bring their newborn babies to his shrine inside the temple before visiting any other temple in the city. As night falls, the temple comes alive with a very special ritual. Around 9:30 pm, after the final prayers, a symbolic representation of Ganesha's feet is placed in a palanquin. To the sounds of Nagaswaram and Tavil, it is carried in procession to the Palliarai, the royal bedroom. It's a tradition usually reserved for Lord Shiva. Here, the presiding deity of Pondicherry retires for the night with the full honors of a king. As we move to the heart of Pondicherry, we arrive at Bharathi Park, a green retreat of ancient trees and open lawns. You'll often find groups of residents here caught up in lively conversations and passionate debates on politics, philosophy, or just everyday life. This tradition of gathering in the open air is part of the city's DNA, and it happens every day right here, under the shadow of one of South India's most remarkable monuments. And if you look carefully around the park, you'll spot four ancient stone pillars, remnants from the historic Jinji fort. At the very center of the park stands the Aayi Mandapam, a gleaming white monument built in Greco-Roman style with elegant Corinthian columns. What makes it special is not just its beauty, it's a remarkable story behind it. The story begins in the 16th century during the reign of King Krishnadevaraya of the powerful Vijayanagara Empire. While visiting Pondicherry, the king spotted a beautifully lit ornate building near the coast. Being a deeply religious man, he assumed it was a temple and bowed before it in reverence. When he realized it was actually the home of a courtesan named Aayi, he was furious and ordered it demolished. Aayi did not beg for mercy. Instead, she made a remarkable offer. She would demolish her own home herself and use her wealth to dig a large water tank for the community. The king agreed. The tank she built became known as Aayi Kulam or Aayi Pond, located about 5 kilometers from the city. Centuries later, when the French colonized Pondicherry, they faced a severe water crisis. Every well they dug produced only salty water. Napoleon III sent his architect, Monsieur Lemerisse, to find a solution. Lemerisse stumbled upon Aayi Kulam, the 16th century tank, and found its water clean and abundant. He built a 5-kilometer underground tunnel to channel it directly into the French Quarter, finally solving the city's water problem. When Napoleon III heard the story of the woman behind that ancient tank, he was deeply moved. He ordered a monument to be built in her honor right here in the heart of the city. It was built in 1854 by architect Louis Gaya again. And here is something most visitors don't know. That elegant white monument with the fleur-de-lis on top is not just a memorial, it's the official emblem of Pondicherry, a French tribute to a 16th century Indian woman now representing the entire city. As you stand before the Aayi Mandapam, You're looking at one of the most unlikely stories in Indian history. A courtesan's act of generosity, quietly solving a colonial water crisis 3 centuries later and earning a place at the very heart of the city forever. Leaving the bustling streets of the French Quarter behind, we arrive at the tranquil banks of Arikamedu River. This is Arikamedu, often called as the mother of all port towns in South India. If you have the time, take a slow boat ride through the lush mangrove forests along the river. It's a beautiful, serene way to approach the site. Today, it feels like a peaceful spot with weathered brick ruins and swaying palms. However, 2000 years ago, this tranquil spot was a bustling international hub. Archaeologists have uncovered dyeing vats and the remains of warehouses that once processed fine muslin cloth, a lightweight textile so prized that Roman elites wore it as a luxury. Excavations have unearthed Roman coins, glassware, tiny glass beads, and fragments of amphorae. The tall Mediterranean jars used for transporting wine and olive oil. Look down at the waist-high brick foundations you see here. These are the ancient layers dating back to the 2nd century BC. These discoveries show that Roman traders crossed thousands of miles of ocean to reach India, trading their gold for spices, semi-precious stones, pearls, and delicate beads, some of which have even been found as far away as Egypt. The tall arched structures that dominate the site today are actually the ruins of an 18th century French Jesuit mission house built around 1771 to 1773. The Jesuits cleverly constructed their seminary right on top of the ancient mounds. They reused bricks from the crumbling Roman-era structures. They are literally made from the same red clay bricks layered across centuries. These thick, elegant arches were not just decorative, they were smart, early engineering. They allowed the cool sea breeze to flow through the building, keeping it comfortable long before air conditioning. The raised ancient walls also acted like a natural levee, protecting the mission from the monsoon floods and the river's high tides. Today, Arikamedu is a tranquil sanctuary under the Archaeological Survey of India. Arikamedu serves as a powerful reminder that the story of Pondicherry's cultural exchange began long before the French arrived, echoing through 2 millennia of rich history. To uncover the tangible proof of the legends we have explored, we return to the heart of the French Quarter. Housed in a stately 18th century colonial building that once served as a law office, the Puducherry Museum stands as a silent guardian of the city's rich history. While photography is strictly restricted inside, the museum carefully guards invaluable evidence of Pondicherry's ancient global connections. Even before stepping inside, the museum's courtyard offers a breathtaking open-air display of the region's spiritual artistry. These weathered stone carvings depicting various Hindu deities serve as silent witness to centuries of devotion. The same ticket also grants access to the museum's painting gallery, where the focus shifts to the artistic evolution of the region. After tracing the ancient and the spiritual, we now step back into the rhythm of the city. Here, Pondicherry unfolds through simple, everyday moments. A glass of freshly squeezed juice by the roadside, a quick stop for local flavors, or an artist capturing faces in just a few strokes. Wander a little further and the streets open into charming boutiques and colorful displays reflecting the city's creative spirit. Pondicherry is a true sensory delight where every street corner feels like a curated gallery. No journey through Pondicherry is complete without indulging in the city's most delicious modern legacy, authentic French baking. To end our day, we head to the legendary Baker Street located in the White Town. Though it feels like a timeless institution, this iconic spot was founded in 2008 by a French expat, Alain Christophe. He wanted to bring a true concept store to India. It wasn't just a bakery, it was a mission to prove that authentic French techniques, the kind found on the streets of Paris, could thrive right here in the tropical humidity of South India. The moment you step inside, the air is thick with the irresistible scent of butter and freshly toasted flour. From perfectly laminated croissants to baguettes that crackle with every touch, each item carries forward centuries-old French craftsmanship reimagined for the modern Ponty palate. As you sit back and savor a quiet moment here, you realize it's not just about the food. It's about everything Pondicherry brings together. Its history, its cultures, its quiet corners and vibrant streets, blending seamlessly into everyday life. And somehow all of it finds its way even into places like this. This is Pondicherry, a place you'll always want to return to.